Okay, so for tonight's homework, you were building an equation. This is a one-step equation, and so you were reading stories, and they were broken up like this, and I'm making an equation out of that. Some of you were not able to finish up this one for Stephanie, so I do want to go over it with you so that you have that and make sure that it is in your journal or on a sheet of notebook paper. I did have some extra copies, so I'm going to go ahead and place that on here. Stephanie is running a lemonade stand. Now, she made some money in May. Her sales for June were 3 times what her sales were in May. So here I know that she made some money in May. Do we know how much she made? Not yet. In June, she made $96. So this is giving a total amount that we have. How much did she make in May? So this is what we need to find out. So on here, Stephanie is running a lemonade stand. She made some money. So I'm going to name a variable. Now let me kind of make this a little bit larger. Name a variable, and what does that variable stand for? So I'm going to have it as M, and it's going to stand for money made in May, because that's what I need to find out. I'm going to create an expression using a variable. So I have an unknown, and the expression is something, it's a numerical sentence, a sentence with operations and numbers without an equation or an equal sign. So what happened to the variable? Okay, so she made 3 times as much. You can write it 3 times M, but we normally see it as 3M. Okay, or whichever letter that you choose. All right, so the next one, now I'm going to create my equation. What does it equal? So I'm going to put my equal sign here. I'm going to put my number, and I know I have to have it. So what was the total amount that we had? The total was 96, so it's going to be on the right side. On the left side, I'm bringing down my expression of 3M. Now I'm going to solve. Okay, so I'm going to repeat, and I'll just do this out a little bit. So here it's 3M equals 96. I need to get M by itself. Again, this is a one-step equation. So since this is multiplication, I'm going to divide that by itself. This ends up becoming 1. Divide this by 3, and I'm going to bring down my M equals 3 goes into 9 3 times, 3 goes into 6 twice. So she made $32 in May. To check my work, wherever I see M, I'm going to replace it with 32. So 3 times 32, does that equal to 96? 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. So it does balance. The equation is balanced. What does my answer mean? Well, my answer means that Stephanie made $32. Oh my gosh, there's a mosquito. In May. Okay, there it is for that question right there. So those of you that did not finish the one for Stephanie, please jot that down on a sheet of notebook paper so that you have it. If you have this sheet here, you may write your notes on there. I will accept it because you're supposed to do that in your math journal. All right, the next one, you were doing the next two. So Fido has a bag of dog food, or Fido has a bag of dog food with some food in it. He ate 2 cups of food for dinner. So we're talking about this little bitty doggy. I don't know if it's so little, but it can eat 2 cups of food, which is, what, 16 ounces? There are 34 cups of food left in the bag. So how much dog food was in the bag before dinner? So we need to know how much was there before he took out the 2 cups. Now immediately you're probably already giving out the answer, which is great because that's what I want you to think about. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and create that number sentence or the equation so that you're able to solve it. So Fido has a bag of dog food with some food in it, and he ate 2 cups for dinner. So here is how much dog food was in the bag before dinner. So what do you want to use? I have a mosquito that's chasing me. All right, so I'm going to use the letter F for food. You can use whichever letter you want, but I'm going to have food, let's see, food in the bag. I could have just done D for dog food too. So it's going to be food in the bag. All right, I'm going to create an expression. He ate. When you eat something, are you, what operation are you using? Are you adding to it, taking away, multiplying groups of something in a group, or splitting it apart and sharing in equal parts? That's exactly right. You're going to be, because if he ate it, he's subtracting from the total amount. So the expression would be F minus 2. Now I'm going to add in the equation. So I'm going to put my equal sign here. And on that equal sign, it said that I had a total of 34 cups left in the bag. So I'm going to put my total amount over here. I'm going to write total on this side here to remind that was the total that was left in the bag. Now I'm going to bring down my expression of F minus 2. And now I'm going to solve. So I have F minus 2 equals 34. I need to keep F by itself. So to move my constant over to the next constant, it's going to be a plus 2. Draw my line, plus 2. So F is equal to 34 cups. I'm going to check my work. Wherever I see F, I'm going to replace that with the value of 34. So 34 minus 2. Oh, look at what I just did. Thank you for catching that. It's 36. I don't know why I did that. So I have total of 36, and I knew that. Oh, well. 36 minus 2 equals 34. So 36 minus 2 is 34. My equation is balanced, so that is correct. All right, so now I'm trying to make that into a 6, 36 cups. All right, so what does the answer represent, or what does it mean? That there were 36 cups of food in the bag before dinner. Okay? All right, so that's the way that would look. Now you had one more problem to work on, and that was going to be on the comic books. So we're looking at Pedro. So let's read this together. Pedro collects comic books. He has some comic books in his collection. Okay? He added 3 more comic books to his collection, and now Pedro has 47 comic books. So how many comic books did he have before buying the new ones? All right, so what letter do you want to use to represent the comic books? All right, let's use the letter C, and that's going to represent comic books. So what do we know? He has some comic books in his collection, and then he added 3 more. What is that expression going to look like now? Yeah, and it already says added, right? So C plus 3. I'm going to place in my equation, if I can get this mosquito from chasing me, equals, what was the total amount that I have? Very good. And I'm going to write total over here. So I'm going to put 47 on the right side, and I'm going to bring down my expression of C plus 3. Now I'm going to solve. So I have C plus 3 equals 47. I'm going to box up my C. I'm going to move my constant over to the other side, draw my line. I have a positive 3. The opposite of a positive 3 is, very good, negative 3. This zeroes itself out. So C has a value of 44. So I'm going to check my answer wherever I have the C. So it's 44 plus 3. Okay, so 44 plus 3 is 47. So I can see that my equation is balanced. What does the answer mean? That Pedro had 44 comic books. And we were looking before he bought the new ones. Okay? I'm sorry about that. Okay, so here Pedro had 44 comic books before he bought the new ones. Okay, please make sure that these answers are in complete sentences when we're having to write that out. All right, and that is it for tonight's homework that you needed to work on. Please have those ready because we're going to be expanding on it tomorrow. Have a great night.